Hello, good evening. Welcome, Siva. Just type yes if you can hear me clearly and if you can see my video. Hello, hello guys. Welcome, Siva. Just type yes if you can hear me clearly. Cool. I see Rinath has said yes, he can hear me. Rudresh has said yes, he can hear me. Shekhar, welcome. Rajesh, welcome. We'll start off in a couple of minutes. We're just waiting for others to join. Thanks, Nishant. Good. Thanks, Karthik. Cool. So you can already see the newsletter which was sent out to around 420 people. So really thanks for subscribing and I hope you're enjoying the content already. But we'll also have a quick walkthrough on the content and then we can jump on to the Q&A. Thanks for last time. I could not get the video ready for the last time, so thanks for being patient with me as well. I hope we can cover some things. And if you do have questions, keep posting them on the chat. We'll take them up once we start. Okay. Um, Fine. I think it's 4 now, so let's start. So this week's newsletter was sent to everyone. So in case you haven't subscribed yet, do subscribe. The link, if you just click on this, you would be able to subscribe to the newsletter. And yeah, the title is "Bears Don't Last Long" because there was this last 2 days panic in the markets, which has literally creeped out or made many small investors really scary. But I think this is part and parcel of the market. So if you're in markets, you should understand that we are going to have short-term panics like these, and this is common, and you should be prepared for this. There's no way out of this, so you can't just expect a one-way move up every time. So that's the point I wanted to make in the starting section of the newsletter. So in fact, the short-term trend, if you see, I've mentioned that we're taking a break. So Nifty is obviously been up for almost 4 weeks since that May move up. So we had a short-term dip and then we had some small dips, but now this consolidation is, like you can see, the trend is just turning around, right? So that's why I'm saying that we are going to take a pause here. So probably this week, and if next week also, we might take a pause. And right now the price is testing this parallel channel that I've posted here in this chart, right? So if you open the newsletter and click on it, you can zoom and see that we are testing that parallel channel again and we just closed right at that point. So we might probably gap down on Monday or probably just open on a small negative note. But if we do go up again inside the channel, then probably you're going to have a good, that's a good sign. But the moves again might not be that furious like we had in the month of May. So yes, so I mentioned that the Friday's low of 1450, 15450, which should act as a strong demand zone. And the reason is this weekly chart, right? So on the weekly chart, if you see, I'm just zooming in so that everyone can see. So we had this breakout week, and we are kind of retesting that breakout zone this week, right? So it's 2 weeks of doji or 2 weeks of indecision. So indecision primarily means that the markets are not really ready to go up or come down, but they're just going to consolidate. Now, if you see historically, we've had such short-term down moves after some big moves, right? So it's always been the case that we would always come back and retest that zone every time we have a major move and then a breakout, consolidation, or breakout. So I'm expecting that this zone should not be broken out at least in the short term. And this trend line, which is since that March code crash lows, this is a beautiful trend line which is just respecting like a textbook trend line reversal every time it touches that. And I'm not expecting this to break anytime soon in the short term to medium term. So yes, don't fret, don't panic. just keep holding on to your positions. If you do have some good multi-baggers, keep holding on to them. We are going to see more moves in the next coming weeks and months. So as I mentioned, don't forget to subscribe. We have some beautiful market outlooks, and even if you're a swing and option trader, if you're a futures trader, you can use this short-term outlook that I've provided here to trade. For example, if you had seen here, you could have taken you could have sold the call options around that range, plus or minus, 100 points above or below. You could have sold those options. You could have made some decent money, or you could have bought puts. But buying puts is not so easy because we don't know whether the move would be, quick or slow. So option selling is probably that you could think of. And right now, we again, if you don't see a good move on Monday, then probably you could sell the call options around this range for the short-term moves. And just a disclaimer: I don't trade options. I don't have the time. I have a full-time job, so it's just a view for people who are interested in short-term trading in options and futures. Okay, the next section is the sector outlook. So last week I did cover metals, but somehow the markets did not really stay put. So we had a short-term move down on metals as well. So, but this week, this is a beautiful breakout on the media sector. So media sector is basically was in a 3.5 year downtrend for many months. So it was a multi-year downtrend, and it seems like we are right out of that downtrend right now. So I was just waiting for this high to be taken out, which was taken out in the last 3 weeks, and we had a follow-through breakout. Now this looks very good for a long-term uptrend. So this is one of the ways that I try to identify long-term uptrends, because you just want to enter when a long-term downtrend is complete, and you want to enter just when the uptrend is starting. So that's the point where you have your risk is literally not that much, but the rewards that you might get from such kind of uptrends is really good, right? So, and I did cover one of the stocks in this newsletter if you see below. The market breadth has taken a dip. So this week we saw a small dip, but it's just a minor dip. There's nothing really to worry. I'd not really be worried about that small dip. But we are at extended levels, so that's why I said we might consolidate for a few more weeks. So that's the level previously where we started coming down. So probably we might consolidate here for a few more weeks. So top four picks. So the first one is from the fertilizer sector. There are in fact many stocks. In fact, I posted about fact on my Twitter last week, but I want all of you to focus on quality picks to start with. That's why I go in Coromandel, which is a leader in the fertilizer segment. But in fact, the entire fertilizer segment looks amazing. I also mentioned this in the last week. So this is actually a multi-year parallel channel move, which was broken out in the last year June, and then we had 1 year of consolidation. When I say consolidation, it's just a sideways move, and then we had this nice little breakout this week from this 1 year consolidation. We also have good volumes, right? So the volumes have picked up in the last week, and this week not so good volumes, but I don't see that as a problem. Last week volumes reflect that the bottom was bought. So this is the first stock in this sector. Do keep note of the stop loss, and that's the entry zone. You might want to look at also some of the fundamentals. You can read that here. But the most important point to note is the operating margins, how they've improved. They've in fact doubled in the last 4 years from 70% to 14%. And there's also a company which has literally any debt. So sorry, they did have debt, but it's literally no debt right now. So 385 crores debt for a market cap of 25,000 crores is hardly anything, and that's really some good news for the company because they have reduced their debt literally like to nothing for now. And in terms of the returns that they have been generally generating is pretty high, 33% returns, and the stock is just trading at 19 PE is undervalued according to me. This still has a lot of potential to go ahead. So that's the first one. The second one is Honda India Power. So again, a lot of sectors in the power, sorry, a lot of companies in the power sector have been doing well of late, and this is one which has not yet moved up. But here we have this nice, downtrend which has been there for almost 4.5 years, 4.5 year downtrend, and it seems that it's going to break out of this long-term downtrend, and it could probably head higher to the upper end of the channel if the power sector continues to do well. Again, this is an excellent company in the power space. It's not as big as Coromandel. It's a very small. I would call it a small cap, not really a mid cap or large cap. But in terms of the debt, it doesn't have any debt. It's a very good company in the power sector. You can go through some details which I mentioned here. In fact, this year it posted really good numbers. It had posted the highest ever sales this year at 939 crores, and the operating margins are a bit of concern, but that's primarily because of the rising material cost. but I don't see that as a big deterrent for this company if we start moving ahead. The third one is an interesting company, Srikala Asti Pipes. Again, small cap, not really a mid cap or large cap. One of the reasons I'm focusing on some small caps is also that these are the companies which would probably do well in a bull run, right? So you do have mid caps and large caps doing well, but small caps are the ones which will probably make you some decent money in a bull run. So again, this is a leader in the pipe industry, in the DI pipe industry, and I've given some details here. It has some very good clients, L&T, NCC, and all these, and the company's sales haven't or was stagnant for the last 4 years, but the last quarter results were fantastic. In fact, it was one of the best quarterly results for this company, and I see that probably that as a turnaround, and that's why we are seeing some spikes in volumes, maybe big institutions already, piling up on the stock. And also, I've made a significant point here that the FIs have increased the stake, right? So FIs increasing stake in the company is really, really good, and that they've doubled the stake from 9% to 18%. So that shows some strong belief in this company by big investors. Okay, and it's a beautiful inverted head and shoulders breakout. So that also signifies the bottom is in place. So probably we should move up from here. The last company is Sun TV. As I covered in the sector, the media sector is going to do well. So again, Sun TV is trending in a parallel long-term channel. This is since 2000, and it is a very good company in South India. It has a very good market share. It's one of the leaders in producing and broadcasting. So I don't see a problem why this company would not do well. Also, it has very good operating margins at 65%. So that's like really fantastic, and it has one of the best margins in the entire media sector. So for me, also, the ruling party is the promoters of this company. So I see that this could probably do well in the coming years. So these are the four stocks that I wanted to cover, and also I've given a short um, trend following series, which is educational series that I started, um, and this is the fifth edition. So I'm trying to help beginners and amateur investors who are really making losses in markets and don't know how to pick stocks. I'm trying to make a series where you learn step by step a simple holistic approach where you can really learn how to invest and trade in stocks, right? So in markets, don't think that you can just jump into markets and make money from the first year. It is going to take a lot of time, and you need some structured approach to learn, and that's what I also mentioned in my YouTube video. So you have to start learning, and just don't randomly invest in stocks just because someone is talking about it. You need to understand what the company is doing. You need to understand where the company's price is. You can't just buy any company or even a quality company like Asian Paints just at any price. You just can't do that if you're looking to make long-term money. You need to find the right price to enter. And I've given two examples of how you can identify a stock trend, whether it's an uptrend or downtrend. Do go through this blog. This blog has a lot of other articles, and I've given some beautiful examples on Reliance and how uptrend is been there for many, many years, and how Suzlon has been in a downtrend for many years. Yeah, so that's the coverage of the newsletter. So I'm ready to take up any questions on the newsletter. So if you have any questions, just feel free to post on YouTube, and we can start taking up questions. So I hope you enjoy the newsletter today, and if you have still not subscribed, do subscribe, because you're going to miss out on a lot of good information um, looking at if you're looking at making money in the short run. Okay. So yes, so here I do have some questions already coming up. Um, so guys, I hope I'm audible again. Just type yes if you can hear me. And I see some questions on GE, General Electric. I don't know what is GE. Good evening. Okay, I'm sorry for that. I don't see any comments yet. So yeah, I can see comments. So India Cements and Neogen. Okay, India Cements is just broken out of a long-term downtrend. So I'm just going to go to India Cements charts. India Cement. So again, the cement sector is a very good sector, which is breaking out of long-term downtrend and which is already in an uptrend. So I think the general perception is that the economy is doing well, not really in terms of how GDP numbers and all that, but a lot of construction activity has picked up of late, right? So that's why the demands from for cement has literally spiked off late. So this is the cement chart. So you have the long-term cement chart. So it's kind of not gone anywhere, but recently it has broken out of this long-term downtrend. So there was this first spike here. So usually the first spike out of a downtrend shows that buyers are trying to get in control, but there was some selling. And this week, if you see there's a follow-up, this month, if you see there's a follow-up move which is happening, which is still not gone below the previous month's close. So probably this India Cement is a very good pick if you want. I think also there's a big investor in this. I think it's the money. I'm not sure exactly, but if you see recently after the downtrend, there was some amazing volume pickup, and it's trying to break out. So, but there is a major resistance around 220 odd levels. So once it crosses 220, so probably we're going to see levels of 330, 340. So yeah, cement is a hold. The next company was Neogen. Yeah, so Neogen is a nice uptrend. I don't see any problems yet. So I'm just going to remove the trend lines that I have. So it is in a long-term uptrend, so I don't see any problem. So probably a stop can be around 750 odd levels, and continue to hold. Okay, so Neogen is again the chemical sector is been doing really well, so I don't see any reason why this company might not do well. Okay, the next one is relevance of 1 hour chart. So relevance of 1 hour chart in Nifty is basically to try and see what is the short-term trend in markets. So in markets, you do have a long-term trend and a short-term trend. So long-term trends tend to last for a long time, and short-term in between long-term trends, you have short-term moves down or up depending on what the long-term trend is. So this is similar to waves in a sea, right? So the sea, you have a huge wave coming up, but there are also small waves in between those huge waves. So in markets also you tend to see those kind of moves. So a short-term move is just to know that how to handle your position size, or if you're a swing trader, whether you should be buying any stocks or not buying any stocks. So even though some stocks can continue to do well, uh, if the short-term trend is down, they might not really be a very favorable risk reward for short-term traders. So you might not want to really trade um, short-term stocks when there's a short-term downtrend in Nifty. So that's the relevance of 1 hour chart. But if you're a trader or a swing trader or an investor, you don't really have to look into short-term charts. So you can stick to daily charts. Okay, how to identify breakouts? That's a very interesting point that I wanted to cover. So this I'll be covering in my newsletter as well, right? So breakouts are basically when the price enters new territory, right? So historically, for example, Neogen, right? So Neogen here after the IPO, it had a nice move up, and then it did not go anywhere for probably what from June 19 to Feb 20, it did not go anywhere. But you had this nice contraction in the move. So there was big down move, and there was a nice move up back to the previous zone, and then you again had a smaller move down, which is relatively smaller compared to the previous move down, and then you see this massive breakout here, right? So, and then the stock moved up and then it came down again. So this is what we call a breakout in technical analysis. But sometimes the breakouts fail. In this case, which happened, it came all the way down and then it's again moved up, right? So you want to look for prices which are moving into new territories and new zones. So I'll be covering how to identify breakouts in the future. But for now, all you need to know is just take example stocks which are making new highs, new 52-week highs. They would be probably stocks which are breaking out in the long term. Okay, so that's what I would call a breakout, but I'm going to I have a separate article which I will cover breakouts. Cryptos, I think cryptos have made a bottom. That's again my view. So please, I don't invest in cryptos. I'm just making a disclaimer here, but I do feel that cryptos have made a bottom. The simple reason is this. I'm just going to show you why I feel cryptos have bottomed out. So if you see here, we are in this long-term uptrend in cryptos, and then there's this nice little move here, and right now we are right at the middle of this channel. So I'm just going to mark this here. I'll show you the middle of the channel, right? So right now we are in the middle of this channel. and I don't see any major problems until we, come out of until we go down below this low of 30,000. So 30,000 should be a strong support for Bitcoins. And if you see here also, we had this struggle before it moved up. And also on the short-term charts, I see that, we've been making kind of base over here after the 30,000 move. So probably if you want to really be conservative, I'd buy above 41,000 Bitcoin and keep a stop at 30,000. So that would be my view. But many cryptos are still looking good. For example, a Matic or ETH USD. I don't see it's just a short-term panic that I feel, but do keep your stop losses because cryptos are dangerous. They're not really a good place to invest your money because it runs 24 by 7, and while you're sleeping, the stock can just you know go down 40-50%. Cryptos can fall 40-50% a day. Some cryptos can go even 80% down in a day. And recently I read there was a new crypto which is launched. It went literally to zero in overnight from some $60 to zero overnight. So if you're a newbie into markets, I'd suggest don't really look at cryptos. It is not a place to. It's not a safe place to keep your money parked. Rather, I'd be invested in Indian stocks or in anything else apart from cryptos. So if you're a newbie, please avoid cryptos. So that's my suggestion on cryptos. Um, Views on Reliance. So Reliance has given a nice breakout. It has been consolidating for the last 1 year. So this was this consolidation. I'm sorry, I'm just going to remove all these, which was the newsletter. Yeah. So after that September last year, it just has been consolidating sideways, and right now volumes are picking up, and it is trying to break out from this level. So I just wait for a close on a weekly basis, and then we can see all-time highs in crypto. Sorry, in Reliance. Right. So that's the zone that I'd be looking at for Reliance to cross. If it crosses, probably I would add more. Even if it closes on a daily basis above this 2250 levels, I would probably buy more. And above all-time high, I'd probably buy more of Reliance. So stop loss for Reliance continues to be the lows around 1800. If you're a long-term investor, 1800 must be your stop loss because if you're going to go below that, we're going to go head higher probably to the lows of 1300 or 1400. Okay, so that's my view on Reliance. Um, Cummins India. Cummins again is a very good company in the capital goods space. So if you look at the capital goods index itself, I'm just trying to open the capital goods. Yeah, the capital goods index itself is showing some nice 14-year breakout. I did post this view on Twitter yesterday, so you might want to go and check that out. So this is a nice 14-year breakout. Now, example, someone asked to how to identify breakout. Now, this is how you identify breakout. So initially, we had a massive move from the lows of 2004. We went all the way up, and then we had this massive move down, and then it just kept consolidating. So this becomes your supply zone. So if you want to understand demand and supply, do refer to one of the newsletters. I have mentioned how to identify demand and supply zones. So here you do have the supply, you again have the supply here, and then we again went down, and again we moved, and this supply zone is basically now overpowered by buyers. So in simple terms, we just what we're trying to say is people who bought here, people who bought here, everyone is now in profits. So there's no majority group which is in losses. So there's no reason for the stock to come down, right? So usually the big investors don't really sell a stock off with a small loss. So right now, big investors, everyone is in profit, and many of the retailers also are in profit. So continue to hold. Now going back to Cummins, Cummins again is in a this is a long-term uptrend. The uptrend is still intact in the monthly chart. So in the short term, we could see this down moves, but in long term, since 2005, it has just been an uptrend, right? So it retested the previous lows and is trying to move up. And I've seen that there's already a breakout which has happened. Right, so that's the downtrend breakout. So around this zone, we already see a breakout which has happened, and now it is just I've already made some notes here. Yeah, so yeah, short term is kind of broken down, but I don't see a problem. But we need to cross this level over here. So in the short term, probably some more consolidation, but the long term trend is clearly up. If you're a swing trader, probably you should not be trading the stock. It's still not showing any good moves up. But if you're an investor, yeah, do hold the stock for all-time highs with a stop around 750 levels, 745, 750 levels. Right, so that's my view on Cummins. Mm, Guys, do keep posting your questions. We have 7 more minutes. I can take more questions. Time Technoplast, yes. Okay, I've not seen this company of late. Wow, this seems to be in a very long term. This was in a long term downtrend, right? So we have a nice bottom in place, so I don't see a problem, and we are heading upwards. So this is a long term downtrend which is over now. So that's long-term downtrend. We had a breakout here around 45 levels, so we can head higher. The volumes are very good. So probably there's something changing in the company. No one knows. But do check out the fundamentals if you want to go to screener.in and check the fundamentals. But the stock has more upside. So if you're looking for any targets, then probably I'd be looking at target of around 110 odd levels in the short term. So that's where we broke down before, and then probably all-time highs if we cross that level. Okay. So that's the view from an investment level. Okay, okay, screen is frozen. I'm not sure why. Um, so probably I should stop streaming and then I'll start streaming. Yeah, I started the streaming again. So just let me know if you can see my screen again. Okay, a few more questions. David India, Dauber, and Deepak Nitrate. David India. Not sure which stock is this. Is it Albert David? Okay, maybe I'll just cover this. It's just going sideways. So I think not really great stock. Um, Maybe there's some big thing which is going on in the company and people are waiting for something to happen. But right now the stock, I not really invest in the stock. But last 3 weeks there's been good volumes, but we need to cross 570 odd levels to head higher. So that's um, my view on Albert David, Dabar, Deepak Nitrite, Dabar from the FMG space. It has given a fresh breakout, so you can see that breakout there this week with good volumes. Actually, the FMC sector itself is kind of moving up this week, and I think the upper might do well, so it might probably be heading towards, the upper channel here. So that's so this is the channel that you see, which is acting as resistance, so we probably head higher. But just to cover the FMCG index, it has given a fresh breakout to all-time highs. So that's why the FM sector looks good. And also, if you're going to see a consolidation, so if you see last 2 weeks, we have seen a very good close in the FMC sector, right? So HUL is kind of leading it. Obviously, don't ask me about ITC. ITC is in a long-term sideways movement. I posted my ITC view on Twitter as well. But for now, FMG looks to do well in the next few weeks. So we could look for some good moves here. And if the index is going to go sideways, FMCG will probably be doing the job to keep the index up. Okay, so that's my view on Daba. Um, Views on Privy Chemicals and Privy. Is it Privy Specialty? Probably. Specialty chemicals. Wow, the chart looks amazing. So this is what you call a breakout, right? So you see this breakout over here with nice volumes. Here we had amazing volumes pick up, and then we had this breakout here, followed by good volumes, and the moves up. So this is what you call a very good breakout. So the stock, you don't expect the stock to come back below this level because everyone who bought the stock here is in profit here. And unless there is any short-term negative news in the company, probably the stock should head higher. But this is a nice March 17 to Jan 21. So it's a 3-year breakout which has happened in previous specialty, and the momentum indicator also looks good. I will be covering CCA at some point, but the momentum also looks very strong. So previous specialty chemicals is a must hold. And if you're looking for a short-term stop loss, then probably this 970 odds would be a short-term stop loss. If you're an investor and you want to hold this company for long term, then your stop loss should be around 800, 820. Okay, so that's my view on this one. Deepak Nitrate, again, a fantastic company, but it has run up a lot. This is what I call, you can't just buy any company just because it's good. You can't buy any company at any price, right? So Deepak Nitrate right now has moved out of this channel. So probably you're looking for more moves up. The trend is completely up. So this is a beautiful uptrend, and we had this middle resistance over here. It kind of crossed that, and we just continues uptrend. So kind of hold if you're already holding it, then continue to add more if you see a move up, and this is going to see more upside levels. And this is one of the excellent companies which has a very high ROCE, very high ROE, hardly any debt, excellent cash flows. I think there's nothing to complain in this company. Okay, so that's my view on this one. HCL got volumes last week due to rumors. Can we consider that volumes seriously? Volumes are volumes, right? So HCL, I'm just opening the chart. I also, I think I was interested in this stock. So there's volumes is not just 1 week volumes. I'll just clear this. It is multi-month volumes. So volumes have picked up since December, right? So volumes are fantastic in this company, and this is kind of breaking out from a very long-term downtrend. So this week's high or this month's high, if we go above 62 odd levels, probably I would also cover this in my next newsletter because this is a very good company from the, I think it's in the cable space if I'm not right. But the volumes look fantastic, and I think there is some big accumulation happening. Even it happened here, and then you see this massive move up, and then same thing is happening here probably, and there's something really huge changing in this company. But we need a breakout above 62, 64 odd levels, and then we could see some, probably who knows, we could even head to, this could be a three bagger. So it's right now at 60 odd levels, 180 could even head to 180 odd levels because this is a one way move down. So I think anyone who buys here would probably not sell off, and the supply would be really less in the market. So right now all the supply is being bought, I think, and we just need to cross 60, 62, 64 odd levels, and I think we could see a good move up. So again, volumes. It doesn't matter. Volumes are volumes. Whether how do we know if we are buying it on rumors or we're buying it on news, right? So we don't rely really on all those kind of rumors in the market. We have a question from Mayur. How many strategies do you use as a personal investor, and do you use any indicator? Yes, I use CCI. CCI is my primary indicator, which I've been using always. Um, so that's been my indicator that I've been using for many years now. And how many strategies do I have? I just have one strategy, CCI. As a personal investor, I'm looking for weekly momentum to be strong and a weekly breakout. I just have one strategy across breakouts and momentum and relative strength. So these are three things that I look at. The more strategies you have, the more you're going to get confused. And I think that's the problem with newbies or at least beginners. You're looking for the perfect strategy in the markets, but actually there's no perfect strategy in the markets. There's just you should accept that there's going to be losses, and if you accept there are going to be losses, you can work with just one strategy. Okay. I think so. I think there's a problem with my streaming. Or streaming is late. Um, okay. Last question is Gillette. Gillette also is. Think it's just moving out of a long-term downtrend. So this is channel, and I see that we are probably heading higher from here. So Gillette, it looks like a very good low risk, high reward setup. So if you can buy right now, the stop loss is just 5,400. That's just 2,200 rupees stop loss for probably a gain of 2,000, 3,000 points. So I would prefer to invest in Gillette Investor. So in Gillette, I would prefer to invest at this point of the time. So it has been going sideways also for many months. So I think that's my view for this week. So do feel free to, join my sessions every week, every Sunday. I see we've had some issues this week on my screen share. I'm just a beginner, so just bear with me. So I'm going to get this corrected, and probably next week we could have a better stream. Okay. So otherwise, thank you and have a nice weekend.